From the stages of Broadway to the silver screen of Hollywood, Sanaa Lathan has been inspiring audiences with her compelling and insightful performances. More than an actor, Sanaa Lathan is also a sister, friend, and activist. Sanaa Lathan, on this episode of Real Life Divas.
She is dignified. She will not compromise her character for anybody or anything.
Lovely, intelligent, giving, spiritual.
Sanaa has been a continuous source of joy and inspiration in my life.
Sanaa is the essence of love, beauty, and light in the world.
My mother always had me dancing and, doing arts and crafts classes and all kinds of classes, and I was around the arts, and because I think I was around the arts, I wanted to do something completely different and something quote unquote respectable in my mind, and that was either be a doctor or a lawyer. And then I went to college. I went to UC Berkeley, and I started kind of doing a little research about lawyers, and I realized I couldn't find a lawyer who really loved what they did. And when it was approaching for me to graduate, I had been in a group called Black Theater Workshop at Berkeley, which was really influential in getting me to kind of take acting seriously. A Black recruiter from Yale Drama School came, and she said, this is something that people of color don't consider. They don't consider graduate school in the arts. And so I was like, well, maybe that's something I could do. So I applied, and I got in, and one of the, kind of getting in helped me make the decision.
Sanaa played around with acting when she was in junior high school and high school. But once again, we never thought that it was something that she would end up doing.
When I told my dad that I was going to be an actress, he practically cried. He knows how difficult it can be, for any actor, let alone a Black woman.
Because I've been in the business so long, I have this thing about the plight of Black American actresses. Because no matter how good you are, there's still very few roles that are really available on the level that you should be working.
Of course, he had some reservations about her getting into the business because it's a cutthroat game, man.
I said, baby, whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do, I don't care what it is. If you want to shave off all your head, if you want to go to Egypt and live and ride on a camel for the rest of your life, whatever it is, I got your back.
She graduated from Yale. She went to New York for a few years and worked in theater in New York. Sort of developed a name for herself.
Yeah, I did some off-Broadway plays that were really great and great experience for me. But soon after, I moved to LA, and I think my first job was I played LL's, he was on a show called In the House, and I played his date. I had one line. For me, it was always fun to get a job. It was always like, they want me. I got an offer. It's always exciting to work.
Love and Basketball is a great story. Sanaa truly saw that as her dream role. I knew Reggie Bythewood, having done Get on the Bus, who was the writer of Get on the Bus. He, of course, was with Gina Prince. And Gina was doing Love and Basketball. We knew about the opportunity, called Reggie, called Gina, and said, please come meet at my apartment, my condo, and let Sanaa read, because Sanaa would be amazing as the lead.
We basically auditioned, me and Hill, Hill played the Omar character, and we basically auditioned for Gina in Hill's living room. I did the reading the next day with Mekhi Phifer, and then she got some actors, and it was like a big audience of industry people. Cut to 2 years later, when she finally got the deal, they kept me on hold because she really loved my audition. And they kept bringing in basketball players, like real girls from either college basketball or, the international circuit or professional. And, they say, what, she's gonna wanna see you play basketball. And I said, well, I've never played basketball in my life, but I can, in my mind, I was like, I can do anything. I'm very coordinated, whatever. And so I got this coach, Colleen, who is one of the coaches with the WNBA team. And she started coaching me every day.
She trained for 3 months before even getting the part, you know, with no guarantee for the part, and that said so much to me about who she was as an actor. And it was a director dream to have somebody that wants a part in your movie that bad to do that.
It just was an example of how committed and hard she works to bring, you know, truth to all her characters when she does work.
For her to fool me as a lifelong basketball player and a basketball fan, and for her to fool a lot of other people who, you know, are in the same, you know, just such huge fans of the sport, and be able to pull it off is a huge testament to the kind of, you know, her work ethic.
I cannot imagine the film without her, you know, and her chemistry with Omar was just great. It was just a perfect combination of so many things.
I think Love and Basketball inspired a lot of people because it was a story about redemption. It was a story about evolution, and to see Sanaa play that, and especially knowing her as well as I do, you know, it was a personal evolution as well.
I played her sister in Love and Basketball, which was my second film, and then I played her best friend Portia in Disappearing Acts.
Disappearing Acts is a book by Terry McMillan. We had to all screen test with Wesley, and I got that part, and totally different role from Monica in Love and Basketball, but great because I got to work with Gina again.
She gained a considerable amount of weight and took a lot of flack for that, and all, you know, crazy rumors that came from her gaining weight for a character.
She had to handle about 15 rumors that she had babies. I said, Sanaa, I was staying at her house, I said, Sanaa, can you please keep the babies down? You have so many babies. That was our running joke. She definitely, she's a hard worker in every single role.
I was home one Friday and my agent said, tomorrow you need to go in and audition for Alien vs. Predator. And I said, Alien vs. Predator? No. He's like, Sanaa, no, you're going in. And I went in, and it was just one of those freak things that literally 4 days later, I was on the plane to Prague to start shooting for 5 months in Prague.
In and of itself, AVP was a significant role for her, again, because it really broadcast her into a much wider audience.
It was so great for me to see a black woman up there beating monsters and living until the end and believe it. And, you know, we don't get roles like that a lot. She was in Prague shooting AVP, and she got a call about Raising in the Sun. And she went to New York pretty much immediately, actually, after she left Prague.
She did the role on Broadway, and she was nominated for a Tony. She's an extraordinary theater actress, and that was an extraordinary collection of actors that had developed a tight bond through being on Broadway together.
That role was so critical in just her developing as an actress and the little nuances that she was able to capture.
Something New was a movie that came to me actually years before it actually was a project. It was timely.
She brought something that made black women really proud to see that character on screen falling in love, but still being proud to be a black woman, still being committed to being a black woman, still being committed to black men, and yet falling in love with someone who happens to be white.
It was just one of those films that you just, immediately when you say Something New, you think of her.
I know you must think I'm combative, neurotic, picky. Maybe I am. But the weird thing is, I've never had to be anyone but myself with you.
The Cleveland Show is an animated series on Fox. Basically, it's a spin-off of the Family Guy. And so I'm playing Donna, Cleveland's wife. And I'm so excited about it because it's, first of all, it'll be the first of its kind on Fox. You know, there hasn't been a cartoon about black people. I have to say, I feel very lucky, very blessed in terms of my career. Would I like to, you know, be compensated more for, you know, my work? Yes. Would I like more opportunities? Yes. And yet I feel so grateful for all of the roles that have come my way and are still coming my way. Hollywood, what happens is, you know, they see you do one thing, so then you're the go-to girl for that. People are not interested in seeing people do different things. So if you're gonna be doing different things, you've got to really go out of your way.
I think when Sanaa chooses a role, it's about how can she be challenged. And can she be challenged and still bring truth and honesty and dignity to the character?
I really try not to do things just for money. I've suffered a lot in terms of finances because of that, but I really, you know, I think something in me, it just makes me kind of sick to my stomach to walk onto a set when I don't believe in it, when I don't believe in the story, or I'm not really into the character.
She has the ability to wait for the right opportunities. She turns down a lot of stuff.
She has a sense of dignity, a sense of responsibility to her race, a sense of responsibility to Black women.
Sanaa would be an actress, even if she was doing Pippin and Poughkeepsie, she would be equally as happy without the fame and the trappings of fame, because she loves what she does.
Even in playing a strong woman, she's still vulnerable. And I think that's what connects with the audience.
The business is about the next hot thing, and so it's always about trying to prove yourself, and that gets exhausting.
It's a challenging field to go into, for men and women. Black men and women especially, Black women especially.
There's the African American entertainment world where she has all the credibility and all the respect in the world. I think the other Hollywood, which is an African American, has still not given her what her value in Hollywood should be.
I was literally around the arts, around dance, around all of these amazingly artistic people from the time that I was before I could remember, really.
As a child, on Sundays, we had this ritual where she would get dressed up in mommy's clothes, and she'd go inside her room and make up a script, make up a story.
My mother was a dancer and an actress. My father's a director, a producer. I mean, I guess it's in my blood.
You know, I think she had the best of both worlds. She was born in New York, so she spent her early days together. Then we all moved to LA. And then after we'd been in LA for a few years, her mother and I separated. Her mother went back to New York. I stayed in LA.
I was like 5 years old when they broke up. So for me, that was just how it was. But my dad was always in my life. He was always very successful and very busy. I know I got on my little cousin's nerves because I would brag a lot, like my dad does Sesame Street.
The relationship was always very, very compatible. And so there was never any kind of struggle over who was going to have Sanaa. She almost had the choice of where she wanted to be.
My mother, one of the things that she has taught me, more by example, is no matter what you go through in life to, be grateful for all of your blessings, because, we can always, there's two sides to every coin. Okay, my sisters are Lillian, Ariel, and Colette. Lily just graduated from NYU. She's a photographer. Ariel just graduated from Sarah Lawrence, and she's a teacher, a kindergarten teacher. And Coco is, 11 years old and like taking over the world.
She's a role model to her three sisters. Her brother and her are close to the same age, so they're like best friends.
She's a big inspiration to me. The way that she has, just taken hold of her whole career and just all the stuff she's done, it's made me step my game up, man. She's one of my best friends.
Family comes first, and she's just looking out for them. Any opportunities or jobs or different things, and yeah, she just has her family's back.
She's got a close relationship with them, and she's definitely a big sister, but she's a big sister in that they can come to her for advice.
She's quick to give her opinion on my affairs, but usually I'll diss and be like, I don't want to hear it. But then I always come around to, my sister told me this, and I find myself going down that path.
I'm a very proud father. I'm proud of all 5 of my children. she's helped me raise at least 3 of them by being a strong role model for them.
My friends are like my family. I've always been one of those girls that have good girlfriends.
I mean, she gets on my nerves, she makes me sick. You know, I love her, I make her sick, I get on her nerves, so I call her more of a sister.
When I first met Sanaa, I just thought she was a regular down-home girl like me. And we got to talking and we realized that our moms were both very hippie-ish type moms. And so we had a lot in common sort of right off the bat.
Sanaa seems to embrace her other girlfriends who are actresses and supports them. And it's cool because she's very close with Regina and Nia and Gabrielle.
We're both in a very competitive industry, yet I never feel like we're competing.
You know, just having dinner and talking and having wine is fun to us. You know, we go to the movies, we'll go to the party, but truly, we entertain ourselves.
She'll cook, pull out a bottle of wine, and we all just, sit around and laugh and have a good time.
We connected 20 years ago, and that person is still there who was there in college, who's honest, who is vulnerable and willing to expose who she is.
I probably come across kind of serious, but I really am silly and goofy and love to laugh and love to, I'm very playful. The Hershey Foundation is a foundation that came to me a couple of years ago to host their Cinderella Ball. Basically, they're a group that helps foster girls make the transition from the foster care system into real life.
I don't know if you know about what happens when girls emancipate from foster care at 18 years old. 7 out of 10 are homeless within 12 months of emancipation. 6 out of 10 will be incarcerated, and half of all girls in foster care will not, or youth actually, will not graduate from high school.
The Hershey Group is an organization that helps them to prepare for their future, whether it's, college funds, helping them get jobs, helping them find a place to stay, helping them get government grants and things to sort of help them get on their way and become young women.
Sanaa's real interest is in the program and the girls and hanging out with them. She's actually going to do some drama therapy with the girls as a way of channeling their emotions and bringing it out through character. And I think she's a perfect person to do that.
I'm happy that I can bring a spotlight to their plight, and maybe I can help raise money because, right now they can only afford a certain amount of girls. I want to be able to bring in a whole number of girls. I would say to the youth to follow your heart, to know that anything is possible, to persevere through the struggles, because I do not believe that God would put any dream in your heart that you cannot attain.
I think I'd characterize her as a diva in a positive way because she affects people. And what she does touches people.
The roles that she chooses have been strong, articulate women. Roles that can show us something, that can illuminate an aspect of the human condition.
Her greatest accomplishment has been hanging in there and continuing to be very selective about what it is that she chooses to do.
I just really hope that she continues to get these leading roles and great roles, because she really can be one of our greats and truly deserves it because of her talent.
I see Sanaa continuing to build a career and have a body of work like Meryl Streep.
I see her directing and I see her acting also in her own scripts. That's what I can say I see for her.
I love that I get to do what I love and get paid for it. I love that I have great friends. I love laughing. I have so much laughter in my life, and I love my work. I want to make movies that people are like, oh, God, I love that movie. You know, I want to make new classics. That's what I want, and I want a family of my own. I want to have kids eventually at the right time. I don't want to rush into anything, but I do want my own family. And I just want to make my little mark on the world.